Welcome to this episode's Best Path Forward. Here's my guest today, Curtis. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. So, Curtis, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am an accountant, a retired soccer player, and I like building things and working out.
All right. So, what's the favorite thing that you built recently?
Probably my shed in my backyard.
You have a shed.
Yes, my fiance said I needed to figure out a place to put all my tools and knickknacks, so I took an old part of a deck and used that as the base of the shed and erected a shed in my backyard.
Wait, you built this thing from scratch?
Yep, no plans, no nothing.
So you just built a shed without any plans?
Yeah.
No blueprint?
No blueprint.
So how did it turn out?
Hasn't fallen over yet, and it's been about 2 years. So
2 years.
Yeah.
How long do they take to usually fall over, if they are going to fall over?
I don't know, but I'll let you know if I find out.
All right. I hope you don't find out. How big is this shed?
It is 10 by 12, which is in the code for where I live.
You looked up the codes.
Yes.
And
yes.
you didn't have a blueprint, but you're like, let me not break the law.
Yeah, so they have to be under 140 square feet. Anything over that needs permits and all that. And I didn't want to go down that route, so I just kept it under 140 square feet.
Nice, man. So you had the deck as a base for it, and I assume that you just had to sand it down, smooth it out.
Kind of just had to repurpose the wood a little bit, make sure it was structurally sound. Then put the cross members on, build a floor, put up the walls, and build roof trusses, so on and so forth.
How long did this take you?
A few weeks.
A few weeks to build a whole shed.
Yep. Did it outside of my 9 to 5, weekends, and whenever I could fit in some time.
All right, so you did it outside your 9 to 5? Is that
Yep.
just in case someone watches this and like, man, he's supposed to be working. He's out building sheds.
Yeah, I had to keep the green on my teams. That way, people thought I was working.
Oh my gosh, you're going to get in trouble for that one. That's fine by me. So for your work, you're an accountant.
Yes.
All right, so what does that mean? You deal with numbers all day?
Yep. Live in Excel. Basically consolidate information, report out to other teams on various areas of the business.
So, what do you do in Excel? Are you one of those guys that can put in formulas?
Yeah.
That is absurd. I had a hard time copying and pasting, and then about 2 years in using Excel, I realized there are sheets at the bottom that do different what is that all about?
Yeah, so you can do anything in Excel. If you have an idea, there's probably a way to do it. And I always tell people, if you're touching your mouse when you're using Excel, there's a lot of room for improvement. So I try to only use, my keyboard hotkeys, writing macros, and doing all that.
So you like the controls and the shifts and the alts?
Yep.
I use my mouse for everything, so I obviously need help. So how did you get into Excel? Is that like accounting 101? You have to use Excel?
Yeah. I mean, very early on in college, that's what you're in the majority of the time for your schoolwork. Major businesses use it. They connect to the ERP systems, and that's
ERP?
Enterprise Resource Planning is what that stands for. So SAP is a big one that a lot of companies use.
So you just use another SAP. You said ERP at first, and now you're saying SAP.
ERP is like the naming convention of the system, and then SAP is one of the systems that can be used.
That sounds incredibly complicated.
It keeps me on my toes.
Nice. So what made you want to be an accountant?
I did not want to be an accountant.
Oh,
so
it's a good start to being an accountant.
I wanted to be an engineer. Very quickly, I realized that I'm not good at science classes, and you have to take pretty high-level science classes to get to the degree, get your degree for engineering. Then I always had an interest in business and money. So accounting was the next best thing. A lot less science, more math, which I'm good at. And that's kind of how I landed it in accounting.
Well, it's funny. Science seems to be the breaking point for a lot of people.
Yes.
It was a breaking point for me. I was supposed to be a doctor.
Yep.
And then I took a class called organic chemistry.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, this is the first one. There are levels to it, and then you start throwing in different types of sciences and other classes, like bioorganic chemistry. I'm like, I don't understand why we need the bio part. And I was like, I guess if you're saving lives and working on people, you probably want to know as much as possible.
Right. Yeah. I would like my doctor to know what they're doing and have good knowledge of all that stuff.
But yeah, that wasn't for me. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
If I did, and then the passing grade was like a 60.
Yeah.
I was like, that's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun at all.
C's get degrees, though.
C's get degrees and I guess save lives.
Yeah.
And to doctors, I guess.
Yep.
So you also said that you like working out.
Yep.
What kind of workouts do you do?
So traditional strength training, bodybuilding typically is what I tailor my week towards. Recently, been training for the Murph, so kind of switching gears into more functional cardio-based training to prep for that.
All right, so is a Murph another acronym that you're going to throw at us?
No, so that is, it's a workout named after a Navy SEAL, Michael Murphy.
Okay.
Mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, followed by another mile run. All for time as fast as you can do it. Typically do it in a group, and then around Memorial Day every year.
All right, so that's coming up here soon.
Yep.
All right, so Michael Murphy, you said, is a Navy SEAL?
Yep.
So do you know Michael Murphy's story?
Vaguely. I haven't dug too much into it. I do know the movie Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg is based on him.
Okay.
So, basing it primarily off that, his squadron was taken out. He was left by himself in Afghanistan, had to survive until the rest of the boys could come get him. He made it back home.
That's awesome. I definitely have heard that story. I think a lot of people have. And is this the Murph Challenge? Does it raise money for anything?
I think it's more or less an awareness thing for our armed forces, and then just kind of to honor his name, because that was a workout allegedly that he did a lot.
Yeah.
When he was in the armed forces.
So 100 pull-ups is no joke.
Correct. Oh, caveat. Men wear a 20-pound vest. Women wear a 10-pound vest.
Wait, so you have to not only do 100 pull-ups, you also have to do it while wearing additional weight.
Yes. That's if you want to really challenge yourself, yes. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend not wearing the vest. But for people that work out on a regular basis, the vest is an added challenge.
An added challenge. So have you started doing pull-ups with weighted vest yet?
I sure have.
How's that going?
It was not fun at the start. Now it's getting more fun because I'm getting better at it. Still very hard. Figuring out pacing, technique, all that. 20 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but carry.
20 pounds sounds like a crap ton.
Yeah, it's like carry 2 gallons of water, from your car to your house, and that's about what it weighs, and then do that for 45 minutes, and it adds up.
So that's how you're training yourself to get used to that weight, by carrying things.
Yep.
It's better than, I guess, just putting on 20 pounds.
Yeah, so that's the other thing is I've been losing a little bit of weight too, so my mentality is if I lose close to 20 pounds, then I have the vest on, it's kind of like I was at the weight when I started the training. So at least that's what I'm telling myself.
And you're not going back. You're not getting that 20 pounds back, are you?
No. That was, I was a little chubby there for a little bit, so trying to dial it back in.
Dial it back just a little.
Yeah.
Well, at least you have that weighted vest as a reminder to see what you feel like when you're 20 pounds heavier. So you have the Murph coming up. You're an accountant. Obviously, weightlifting. And then the last wrinkle that you said was soccer player.
Yep.
Former soccer player.
Yep.
So what's the story there?
I not the tallest, biggest guy in the room, and played a bunch of sports growing up, and then soccer, you don't really need to be the tallest or the biggest. And I was very, very good at it at a young age. Played very high levels all throughout college. Men's league, post grad. Just massive part of my life.
That's awesome. Yep. Do you still play today?
Tore my Achilles about 2 years ago, so that kind of put, something in my head that it's going to take me a minute to get back out there. I would love to get back out and play in a men's league, rec leagues, whatever it might be. Help coach future kids' team potentially. Be involved with the sport somehow.
Okay. You say you tore your Achilles.
Yes.
Was that during soccer?
Yes. Yeah. Men's league on a Wednesday night. Had work the next day.
You worked the next day with the torn Achilles.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So what did you do about the torn Achilles?
Went to the best surgeon in town, got his advice, ended up getting surgery on it, and then followed, their protocol to a T. They sent me to a more athletic geared PT location just for, current athletes, retired athletes, if you will, and then just continued day in, day out to try to get better and get back to 100%.
So for someone that works out as much as you do, I bet the prospect of surgery wasn't necessarily ideal because it takes you out of commission for a little bit.
Yes.
So how did you kind of mentally prepare for that?
Yeah, so that was a huge challenge for the first month. I was basically bedridden, couldn't really move too much, anything like that. So I knew I had to do something. So what I tried to do was think about things in my life that were more of mental challenges or mental tasks that I wanted to get done. And I just kind of jotted down a list. And I'm like, I literally have no other option right now than to do mentally stimulating things. So that's kind of how I went about it and got through that first 4 to 6 weeks of being very immobile.
Yeah, so I think it's awesome that you knew that this potential, I like to call them hurricanes, disruption in life, it was coming up, and you plan accordingly to make sure you can get through it in good fashion.
Yep.
And it looks like you're back to kind of your normal routine now because you're doing this Murph challenge. Yep. And not only you're doing the Murph challenge, but you're also strapping on 20 pounds to help accomplish some of the tougher things, really push yourself.
Yep.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
So part of your homework was to pick a random date for the bike brain entry for today. So Curtis, what date did you pick?
November 21st.
All right. Anything specific about that day? Any reason?
That is my day of birth.
That's your birthday?
Yes.
You just chose your birthday as a day?
Yep.
For this meaningful conversation?
Yes.
I like it.
Yep.
So let's see what we have for November 21st, 2023. All right, so this bike brain's topic is spirit. And so, you know, each of the bike brains are usually broken down into mind, body, or spirit. And the one you chose is spirit. And so I'm going to have you read it first before I read it to everyone else. Now I'm going to kind of explain what each of those components are. Okay. So bike brains are kind of mental journals that I do on a near daily basis. It just kind of helps me process my thoughts and things that are going on in the world, outside and inside myself. So mine relates to energy allocation, and energy allocation is split into different rooms. And so rooms for like working out or nutrition or work room, where am I allocating that mental energy to? Trying to focus on the things that I can control and letting go of the rest. Body is being about a hybrid holistic machine, kind of a 360 approach. A lot of us think about the body as far as like physique, as far as working out, but a lot more goes into it. How much sleep are you getting? How much nutrition are you getting? Are you paying attention to how anxiety or stress is impacting your day-to-day life? And then the last one is spirit. And spirit is about your code of conduct. And a simple component is dive in and reach out. So you're diving into yourself to see how you process things, what you do on autopilot, and then reaching out to others to see how they're doing and checking in on them. And so today's bike brain relates to spirit. And so I'll read it first. It says, fight the black hole. As the holidays arise, it's easy for the brain to float toward the vacuums of perceived emptiness in our lives. Be it the lack of a job, not enough money, or loss of a connection you once held dear. They exist. Those absences are like black holes. They will draw you in and consume you unless you mount a counter offense. Fight back by imprinting a mindset of, I have everything I need right now. Think less of things you don't have and instead focus on those that you do, like friends and family. Reach for the folk that support you to pull you away from that void. And so the reason why I like that bike brain entry is because we have a tendency to focus on the things that are not there in our lives instead of focusing on the things that we do have. It's a lot easier to think of, man, I wish I had that, instead of taking a moment to appreciate what you currently have. And so the one tool, the one takeaway from this is to take stock. When you take stock, you realize I probably have everything I need to get done. I have everything that I need to get done right now. You don't have to wait for a promotion. You don't have to wait for a raise. You don't have to wait for someone else's actions. If you take stock of what you currently have, chances are you already have enough to get started. So instead of waiting for things, you can act now. And so that's kind of what I take away from this bike brain. Curtis, what did you think about that bike brain?
I thought it was interesting. I think there's a lot to unravel there. I think that's a very good point, that people tend to focus on what's next, what's next, what's next. I do it myself. It's one thing I'm constantly trying to work on. But, you know, I think you're where you're at because of what your younger self did and where your younger self wanted to be, right? So it's like you got to give yourself time to celebrate where you're at. Sure, be comfortable, but don't be complacent with it. What's next is always going to be there. And in 5 years, whatever, 5 days, 5 minutes, you're going to have the same conversation. So big struggle. I think a lot of people have, myself included, but very, very good point.
Yeah. And it kind of alludes to what you said earlier about when you were having surgery. I'm no stranger to surgery. I've already had 2 this year.
Yep.
It's like, we know that these things are coming up. We're going to have a lack, and I want to do all these things.
Yep.
So no, you can't do certain things after you have surgery. It's just, 1, physically impossible, and 2, if you did it, you would just hurt yourself. And you will have to go back and have surgery again. So it's like, where can you allocate that energy toward to things that you can do, what you currently have? So you took stock. Taking stock was something like, hey, I have this shed I want to build. I know I can't necessarily do physical activity right now, but at least I can develop a mental plan like, oh, I have this old deck that I can use as a base. I can go to the store and buy these things. And so when you take stock of the things that you currently have, you can start playing out a plan of action. So is that something that you did when you had your surgery?
Yeah. So I, like I said, there were some mental things that I wanted to achieve. And as I got done with those, happy, satisfied, but there's always another thing on the list, right? And I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise. It forced me to slow down for 4 to 6 weeks and realize there is a lot of time in the day. Whether you choose to fill that, with stressing about what's next or being happy with where you're at, is your choice. And I know what side I like to be on of that coin. So
I agree with you there as far as like figuring out things that you have a choice in. And I think that's the biggest thing about the tool of taking stock. It's like we always depend on other people to do things if we're not raising awareness to it. Once you start raising awareness to it, it's like, oh, I can probably take care of this myself. As always, it's good to have like your friends and support system there. But if you're leaning on them all the time for your own personal growth and development, I think that's a recipe for disaster. Because if one person obviously gets busy and they can't come through for you in the way that you need them to, your whole journey is kind of put on pause. And so you can take stock of the things that you have currently in your life and just make sure you can keep going forward there. Yeah. So Curtis, did you prepare something to share today?
I kind of came into this a little blind.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. I have some things I could talk about. Is there anything specific? Or I do have a question for you if you don't mind me asking.
Oh, I love questions. Go ahead.
So I heard a quote the other day, or someone said it to me and thought it was interesting. Relates to the bike brain, but they said you can have everything you want in life, just not all at the same time. So what do you think, they meant by that?
So you can have everything that you want in life, just not at the same time. I think it's kind of like the James Clear's Atomic Habits, if you've heard that book, and it's a book about building habits. I think everyone, for instance, like a New Year's resolution goal, they go and try to do everything all at once. It's like, yeah, you can have everything, but just not this time. And so if you try to do too many things, that sets you up for failure. But I also think it allows you to have some type of patience in it. So if you take the small things, say, for instance, you have a goal of losing 20 pounds. It's like, cool, that's an overall framework of a goal. But how are you going to do it? It's like, you can have different things to make that happen. But if you try to throw too many things at a problem, you're not going to know, 1, what works, and 2, you might not have the energy and will to kind of see that through. So that's kind of one of my big takeaways from it. So I'll bounce back to you. What did you think of that quote?
Yeah, so the bike brain talks about the black hole, right? And that kind of, you can have everything at once, or have everything you want in life, just not at once. If you think about it from a black hole perspective, you can be kicking butt in your workouts. You could be kicking butt at the gym, but then those take a lot of time and mental capacity. Maybe you're not giving your most to your relationships with other people. And that would be, the black hole coming in is, okay, hey, I want to do everything perfectly today. Well, now I'm focused on what's next. It's like, I just got done with my workout. Now I have to go to work. Now I come home, perfect relationships. How long can you sustain that for? Probably not forever. Then you get to a point where you're burnt out because you're only focused on what's next, versus, hey, I want to, I didn't have a great day yesterday with my significant other because I was doing other things. Today I'm going to prioritize that, knowing that these other areas might be a little bit lackluster today, but that's okay, because in the end, you're going to have what you want. It's just not going to all be at the same time.
And I think it's also cool, kind of going back to relationship building and relationships, be it with your friends, your family, your significant another. You mentioned you had a fiance earlier.
Yep.
And part of the whole spirit is like reaching out to people, like letting them know it's like, hey, I'm here for you, but I also wanted to let you know that I'm going through this kind of process. And so as far as communicating to that, how do you communicate with your significant other or to your friends or your family that, hey, I have these goals and ambitions. Our relationship timing, our relationship status, relationship communication might change, but that doesn't mean I still don't care for you, I still don't love you. Do you find it hard to communicate with people with?
Yeah, I think communication of anything that's not positive is a challenge. I think, you found the one when those conversations are easy from a getting on the same page perspective. So, yeah, they're difficult to have, but her and I are able to align on what each one of us is prioritizing, and that helps out the situation a lot. Still uncomfortable knowing you're telling the person you love the most, like, hey, I need to put, us on the back burner for the next few days to get these other things done. But, the plan is A, B, and C, and then X, Y, Z comes out of that, move on and keep handling things together.
You're funny.
Why?
You had me start to listen to a podcast.
Yep.
Do you remember the name of that podcast?
Yeah, Renaissance Periodization.
Renaissance Periodization. And they were talking about an episode where you're trying to start a new workout endeavor. And you said a couple of things there, and I'm going to say them again just in case I didn't hear you correctly. But one, you communicated kind of like the plan, and then you also communicated the timeline.
Yep.
So your fiance knows, like, okay, these are the things he has to do, and it's also not going to last forever.
Right.
Do you think it's important to have both of those components?
Yes, absolutely. I think humans, some people say they're not schedule driven, but I think humans need
Yeah, we are.
timelines and schedules of everything.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know of many people where you can just be like, hey, sometime in the next month, right? It's like, hey, why don't we shoot for, and it might not be a specific day, right? But like there needs to be some type of expectation there. So managing expectations is a huge thing with people.
And I think just being open and a little bit vulnerable with them.
Yep.
And to tell them your why. Have you heard that concept before? Start with why.
No.
Yeah, so Start with Why. It's one of my favorite books by Simon Sinek. It's like once you start with why, it's the big purpose behind why you're doing things. And so the intro earlier was like, the reason why we're doing this is to help develop tools and share the tools that we've developed with as many people that need them.
Yep.
And so I assume you communicate your why to them. Like,
yes.
Why are you doing the Murphy, for example?
Yep. That's a personal thing for me. I think fitness things, if you're doing them for other people, it makes it a little harder. But I want to look back and say my best workouts were after I tore my Achilles versus letting the Achilles injury be my Achilles heel. No pun intended.
I want to drink water on that one. That was incredible.
But yeah, just personal challenge is why I'm doing it. And then, her and I have talked, and I'm like, there's going to be days I'm going to be really tired. There's going to be times I got to wake up a little bit earlier and, have to spend money on a little bit of a fitness equipment that might not have not been in the budget 6 months ago. But yeah.
All right. So have you communicated your why to her while you're doing it? Because
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Like, it's almost proving to yourself, yes, I had this injury, but I'm not going to let the injury define me. It'll just be one step on the journey. And I'm going to show that despite having this injury, I'm going to keep pushing forward and push harder than I did before.
Yep.
You're probably doing it a little bit smarter now.
Yeah.
I see you before in the gym and you stretch like a monster.
Yep.
So how is that kind of like reformatted how you approach workouts?
Just kind of wish I would have listened to coaches and strength trainers growing up, when they tell you, warming up arguably more important than your actual workout. I never took any of that serious, and now I can't move my body if I don't. So, trying to slow down a little bit, warm up properly, get the juices flowing in all the right areas, and then getting after it.
I think that's fantastic. And so you learn not only from these injuries, I think that's good that you're using them to kind of tailor your approach and your workouts going forward.
Yep.
Was there something on the table? You could have put it back up there. Are you done with it or something?
It's empty, yeah. So I was going to put it...
What are you drinking? No, it's fine.
It's a Red Bull.
It's a pink Red Bull. What kind is that?
Sugar-free. This is wild berries.
Did you bring one for me?
I did not.
All right, let's see how this is. That's fine. So getting back on topic, you communicated that why to your fiance.
Yes.
Nice. And what did she think of that?
She was on board. It's not something that's negatively going to impact either one of us or our future situation. So pretty sure as long as for both of us, if it checks those two boxes, we're both very supportive of what the other person wants to do. And it's also not a 5-year-long endeavor. I started training a few months ago. The Murph's in a few months, so it's 3-4 month commitment. And she's helping me out with it as well, which is cool.
That is awesome. She's on board,
Yep.
not only supporting you, but actively being there and helping you out.
Yep.
How does that make you feel?
Good. Very confident and supported, which, that's the best thing she kind of shows me is 100% support with most everything I do. Can't be 100% all the time, but just gives me a lot of confidence to, try to achieve whatever challenge or issue I'm facing.
I like that. So another component kind of stemming from this bike brand and the Spirit entry. So Spirit's about diving in to yourself, figure out what your code of conduct is, and also reaching out. As you've gone through this Murph and kind of the weight loss journey that you've been on, have you noticed other people kind of cheering you on or other people relating?
Yeah. So connected, see very similar group of people at the gym every morning. There's actually a few others that are starting their prep for it as well, or have already started prior to me. So being able to talk to them about that has been awesome. But then also, you're over there drenched in sweat, look like you just got out of the shower. People aren't just walking by not saying anything, they're fist bumping, they're supporting you and telling you that's awesome you're doing what they're doing or you're doing. So it's been a lot of fun that way.
I think that's really fantastic. And this all stemmed from your quote of saying, actually, what was it again?
You can have everything you want, just not at the same time.
So how do you take that going forward in your life?
I think what I'm going to try to do, I can't say I've really thought about that too much, but I think a good approach would be 3 to 5 things that are most important to me. Try to focus on those day in, day out. Everything else is, not as high of a priority. And then just keep the communication line open with, my fiance, my friends, family about what I have going on. Try to move forward that way.
I like that. So what you said, and just make sure I got this right, you have the framework using 3 to 5 things. And I think that's a healthy thing to have.
Yep.
Even James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, it's like once you start to throw too many things at it, something is just not going to stick.
Yep.
And so I think having 3 to 5 things is an attainable thing. You kind of pour all of your energy into those things.
Yep.
And knowing that there's probably 20 things on that list.
Right.
But you can focus on 3 to 5 and do those well.
Yep.
Check those off and move on to the next.
Yep.
What are you going to call that?
So Andy Frisella, podcast I listen to, he calls that the power list. I know your favorite saying is save the day. I like to say win the day, which means you have 3 to 5 critical tasks to do every day. You get those done. You could get those done at 10 a.m. It might be 11:50 at night, right? You get those done, you won that day. You do that over the course of a year. Yeah, you're not going to win every day, right? But let's say you win 80% of the days.
It's a lot of wins.
Right. How do you lose then, right? Is the next question after that. And then it's 3 to 5 actionable items every day that just compound on each other, and you ultimately get to where you want to be.
Nice, Curtis. Well, thank you for sharing and thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I'll just kind of recap what Curtis just said. So what Curtis said is that he likes to win the day. And winning the day for him means having 3 to 5 tasks that he hits. No, he's not aiming for perfection. What he's looking for is an 80% chance of winning. And if he hits 80% every day, day after day, after 365 days, that's a whole year of winning the day at least 80%. And so once you go ahead and hit those 3 to 5 goals, write them down, put them somewhere, get those critical tasks done. Is that about right?
Yep.
Nice, Curtis. So definitely implement that win the day tool inside of your own toolbox, and we'll have a full description of what that is and a recap in the video. Until next time, we'll see you later. Have a good one. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Oh, right hand. That was stupid.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, I'm glad you said something because I was about to torque
There we
it.
go. Thank you for watching today's episode. True personal development is supposed to be hard, and that's because you're not only changing who you are, but how you operate. The aim of this podcast is to make that journey a little bit easier by giving you some tools and community of people that are aiming to do the same. So like and subscribe to the channel and comment below on how you plan to use today's tool. And remember, to save the day, you must first make sure that your own abilities are sufficient to overcome life's challenges. We'll see you next time.